Thank you for joining us for CBN News Watch. I'm Efrem Graham. Ahead today, dangerously hot temperatures are affecting Americans across the country. See what new measures President Biden is enacting to help communities at the most risk. Plus, this week, President Joe Biden signed a proclamation establishing a national monument in honor of Emmett Till and his mom. Now we take a look back at Till's brutal murder through the eyes of his cousin.
At 12, I know I didn't understand it all. But I understood what I saw. I saw the injustices that took place, and it affected me.
Then later, an impossible dream comes true when this wrestler wins a state championship. See how he did it against all odds. All these stories and more coming up next from the CBN Newsroom.
This is CBN News Watch.
We begin this half hour with that extreme heat. No matter where you are in the country, it is likely hot, possibly even record-breaking. As Americans coast to coast deal with extreme heat, President Biden is enacting new measures to protect communities at most risk from this dangerously high temperatures. CBN News White House correspondent Abigail Robertson has more in our top story.
President Biden is warning Americans the #1 weather-related killer is heat, and announced plans to take action to combat rising temperatures.
I don't think anybody can deny the impact of climate change anymore.
Biden's new measures include an updated heat hazard alert to protect workers from extreme heat, putting $7 million into improving the nation's weather forecasts, and awarding $1 billion in grants to various cities to plant more trees in hopes of repelling heat.
We are making progress, but as we heard today, we have a lot more work to do.
The mayor of Phoenix joined President Biden remotely as her city is in the midst of record-breaking heat streaks.
It's taking a real toll on our community. We feel like we are very much on the front lines of climate change.
This month, Phoenix shattered its previous record of consecutive days with 110 degrees or greater, now at 28 days and counting. And there's not much break in the evening, with consecutive days of low temperatures of 90 degrees or more. Maricopa County's medical examiner's office is preparing for the worst by bringing in a fleet of coolers to handle the expected surge in heat-related deaths.
This is probably the worst July we ever had.
Gallego wants Congress to give the president authority to declare heat a disaster, as Phoenix is on track to become the first major U.S. city to reach an average monthly temperature higher than 100 degrees, with no rain in 127 days.
We have some of the funds. We're working. We're going to get more, and I think we can make a difference.
California's Death Valley still at high temperatures after hitting a scorching 133 degrees 2 weeks ago, 1 degree shy of the 1913 record for hottest ever on Earth. And in Miami, a record 100-plus heat index for 46 days straight. Even the ocean water surrounding the southern tip of the Sunshine State is hitting triple digits, causing coral bleaching, which experts predict could lead to death of multiple reefs in the Florida Keys that serve as a barrier for the coastline during intense storms. The heat wave, now widespread. About half the nation is dealing with extreme temperatures today, above 100 from the southwest to here in Washington. It's not just Americans baking in the heat. The European Union Climate Monitor predicts July is on track to be the Earth's warmest month on record, with Earth just experiencing the hottest June since records began in 1850. Reporting from the White House, Abigail Robertson, CBN News.
America's economy is plowing ahead. The latest GDP report shows for the second quarter, the economy grew at 2.4%. That suggests the U.S. is steering clear of a recession. The accelerating economic growth defies explanations of a slowdown, even as the Federal Reserve has continued to push interest rates higher in its efforts to fight persistent inflation. The Fed imposed a quarter-point rate hike yesterday in an effort to slash consumer demand and to get companies to cut back on hiring. The latest hike takes benchmark borrowing costs to the highest level in more than 2 decades. The U.S. risks losing its standing in the Middle East unless it gets tough against Iran. CBN Middle East correspondent Julie Stahl is on this story.
Since Ayatollah Khomeini came to power in Iran during the 1979 Islamic Revolution, Tehran has had one goal:
What's driving them is the fundamentalist creed and willingness to restore Ali, or the true heir of Muhammad as they see him, or the founding father of Shiite Islam, into the dominant force in the Middle East. So from day one, from square one, they said, we want to take over the Middle East and export the revolution.
Or Issachar of the Israel Defense and Security Forum says Iran is taking a multi-dimensional approach to close in on the Middle East.
They are driving sort of a pincer movement where you got both the G to G level, government to government, between the Iranian regime and the Jordan, Egypt, and now the Saudis.
Then there's the regime's proxy network.
That is to say, the Hamas, Hezbollah, all of these are re-legitimized around the Middle East.
Issachar says the positive wave from the Abraham Accords that Israel's been riding has crested and momentum is shifting back.
You have the leader of Iran saying the balance of power around the world has changed and now everybody's coming to us. Why does that happen? Because of a vacuum and lack of American leadership.
And that vacuum could include the Saudis, Jordanians, and Egyptians, because while those countries share no love for Iran, they could be at risk without American guarantees.
Israel is looking at the Middle East, balance of power is concerned, because we're counting on an Israeli-Arab-American partnership, sort of a NATO of the Middle East, against Iran. We actually are worried that the sort of the temptation to secure one's future sort of insurance policy vis-a-vis to Iran will drive the Arabs back to Iran, while we want them on our side and on the U.S. side.
Issachar says Israel does not see those in the Middle East going in the right direction.
Israel is looking at it. It's super worried. I think what's interesting for the U.S. to know is that U.S. interests in the Middle East are in great peril.
And while the Biden administration verbally supports the Abraham Accords, actions speak louder than words, especially in the Middle East.
What we need is a clear American credible military threat against Iran. We need strong investments in the region. We need military guarantees.
That's the kind of strength the Middle East saw under President Trump.
You got a president who visits Riyadh and then Israel and then sort of hails and sort of summons the entire Arab world and Israel together behind him.
He says Israel feels a disinterest from Washington that needs to change.
While Israel and Washington are the real answer, are the sort of insurance policy for the future. At the end of the day, the Arab world, they care about their own survival. These leaders want to survive and they want to preserve their own national interests first. They need sort of the stable wall to lean on.
Julie Stahl, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Emmett Till's murder sparked the civil rights movement. Coming up, we're going to take a look back at Till's murder through the eyes of his cousin. Stay with us. You're watching CBN News Watch. Welcome back to CBN News Watch. On Tuesday, the family of Emmett Till gathered with civil rights leaders as President Biden announced a new national monument in Till's honor. The day also marked what would have been Till's 82nd birthday. Emmett Till is the 14-year-old whose brutal lynching in 1955 ranking among America's most tragic and shameful moments. The president signed a proclamation establishing a national monument in his honor and his mother's honor. The monument marking the brutal crime that became a turning point in the civil rights movement in America.
Only with truth comes healing, justice, repair, and another step forward toward forming a more perfect union.
The proclamation designates and protects sites associated with the black teenager's lynching. On August 28, 1955, 14-year-old Till was kidnapped and murdered for whistling at a white woman in the segregated South. Those responsible were never convicted. Emmett Till's younger cousin, Simeon, watched as the two men abducted the boy. But decades later, that cousin said his heart had been convicted to forgive. I had the opportunity to speak to Emmett Till's late cousin, Simeon Wright, back in 2010.
Isaiah 11:6 reads, "A little child will lead them." And in some ways, that is the story of the fight against racism in America.
We were not going to take segregated buses any longer.
It was a child who inspired Rosa Parks when she refused to give up her seat on a segregated bus in Alabama, December 1st, 1955. That child was Emmett Till, a 14-year-old Chicago boy who made headlines only 4 months earlier. He was kidnapped and lynched while visiting family in Mississippi.
At the age of 12, could you imagine going to sleep at night and wake up the next day, your whole world is upside down.
Emmett was visiting his cousin Simeon Wright that summer. They were sleeping in the same room when two men showed up at the Wright family's home.
See, when they awakened Wheeler, they said, "This is the wrong boy. We're looking for the fat boy from Chicago." And they knew who they were looking for. At that time, I weighed about 90 pounds, and Emmett weighed about 140.
They were J.W. Milam and Roy Bryant. Bryant owned the country store where Emmett and his cousins had stopped to buy candy just a few days earlier.
Well, Emmett and I, we had walked out. We was in the store together. We had walked out of the store, and Mrs. Bryant came out behind us, and she was walking towards a car, and then Emmett whistled at her, and it scared us half to death.
The whistle at Carolyn Bryant, Roy Bryant's wife, was a joke to the 14-year-old from Chicago, who was always trying to make his cousins laugh. He didn't understand the unspoken rules of the segregated South.
Color didn't mean anything to him. I mean, you're a human being. We're all the same. So he grew up like that.
Emmett Till's family called him Bobo, and this is what he looked like before August 28, 1955. Simeon describes that day as the longest day of his life, and the first day there was no laughter in his childhood home. Emmett's body was found 3 days later in the Tallahatchie River. It was tied to a cotton gin.
The boiler was so badly damaged that we couldn't hardly just tell who he was, but he happened to have on a ring with his initials.
Simeon's father identified the body before it was sent to Emmett's mother, Mamie Till Mobley, in Chicago.
I didn't see the ear. Where's the ear? And that's when I discovered a hole about here, and I could see daylight on the other side.
Mrs. Mobley wanted the world to see what she saw. She left her son's casket open at the funeral for the thousands who came. Even more would see his face on the cover of Jet magazine, where 12-year-old Simeon saw it for the first time.
At 12, I didn't understand it all, but I understood what I saw. I saw the injustices that took place, and it affected me.
It's taken more than 50 years for him to talk about his cousin's death. He shares his pain in the book Simeon's Story, the very first eyewitness account of Emmett Till's kidnapping.
I was enraged and embittered by the verdict. I saw for the first time the evil that was in the heart of the segregationists.
The all-white jury found J.W. Milam and Roy Bryant not guilty in the murder trial, and there was never a trial for the kidnapping.
I was angry, yes, because of what happened. Because the justice system in Mississippi failed us. Our neighbors failed us. Leaving that trial, looking back at the white population rejoicing because these men was acquitted. I had the thought in my head, I said, we had no one to help us.
Did you hate those white men?
I don't think I know how to hate, but I wanted to get even. I wanted the revenge.
Simeon and his family moved from Mississippi to Chicago not long after the trial, but the distance could not erase his anger.
If I was provoked, we'd try to get even. Now, I remember one case, there was a young lady in my classroom, she was from Alabama, and she did something, nothing serious, and I think I slapped her.
He turned to alcohol early in his adulthood, until something unexpected happened one night at a Chicago bar.
At age 22, God forgave me of my sins. That's what changed me, really. When I was sitting in this tavern, and I heard the voice of the Lord said, if you die in your sins, you're going to hell. And man, I tell you, my life wasn't the same again.
That voice inspired him to forgive the men responsible for the death of his cousin.
Needless to say, the death of Bobo and the acquittal of his murderers left the hole in my heart.
How did you learn to forgive them?
Forgiveness is something, it's not easy. Just because I said that, it wasn't an easy process. It's a process that you have to, it's an act of your will, you have to do it, and then fight through it. And then the deliverance comes.
Ephraim Graham, CBN News.
Still ahead, title match and the turning point. The unlikely state champion tells what pushed him through to victory and how his faith and his family helped him achieve his dream. Stay with us. Welcome back to CBN News Watch. Adonis Lattimore's first name means God's blessing, and since the day he was born, Adonis has lived up to his name. What most people would consider weakness, Adonis has turned into his strength, and powered by his faith, he has become a champion. Take a look.
Adonis Lattimore is a distinguished wrestler.
The Class 6A, 106-pound state champ.
A distinction from not only the success he had on high school mats across Virginia, but achieving it with what he doesn't have.
I was born without the 4 other fingers on my right hand, right leg, and a full left leg.
Adonis and his parents, Gerald and Demetra, have long known how to wrestle. From struggle, since embracing the unexpected at Adonis's birth in 2004.
We were not aware of his condition until he was actually delivered. The umbilical cord wrapped around a limb, and the limb wasn't able to develop. So you could tell that something was wrong.
It was multiple emotions. I mean, it was the excitement of life, but then it was also the grief of lost limbs.
I was sitting there, and the nurse said, things happen for a reason, and I was chosen to be his parent.
The first question that I think people always want to ask is what happened and then why? I had to accept the fact that there wasn't going to be a why, and this is what God has given us. And so we accept that. God makes no mistakes.
Adonis, what is the greatest challenge?
There are some things I want to do myself, but oftentimes I can't do them. I don't want to rely on other people, become a burden to them. So that's always been my biggest weakness, but it's also a strength because I'm not totally defenseless. I can't worry about what I don't have. I just need to focus on what I do have. One of the 7 deadly sins is envy, or to want something that someone else has. I want to figure out a way to do it myself and make it my own.
It's been hard as far as raising someone that has a uniqueness like him. We have 3 other kids. I'm navigating through how to do things differently than what people take for granted. The little teeny things, you know, the door width, entry on the sidewalk, that's safe. Letting him know that even though it's not the traditional way that things are done, that you still can do it.
You have a lower sight line. What do you see that some of us may never see?
Just like the foundation of everything, I see lower to the ground than most people, so I notice like how things are structured, how things are built up, and what's keeping them up. Things that people take for granted that I tend to notice a lot more.
How does the likeness of God look different when you look at your son?
We're made into the image of God, and when I look at Adonis, everybody has something unique people are drawn to. Embrace it, ask God to show you the way to deal with it, and give you those tools to carry on. No matter how different we all are loved.
You elected the name Adonis.
Yep.
Why?
The meaning of Adonis' name is God's blessing. It comes from an African proverb. We embrace the name. He's embodied, I would say. Each person has their own identity, that we wanted him to be who he was, what God has in store for him.
What was it about the sport of wrestling?
I competed in sports all throughout my childhood, and I just wanted him to know what it felt like to be able to compete, to allow his abilities to either make the determination of how well he did or didn't do. When he decided that that was something that he wanted, I just wanted to be there and just make sure that if he loves it, then it's a love that I have.
To become a wrestler, where did that come from?
That ability to win on my own instead of with other team sports where I'm sort of relying on teammates just as well.
Because of your unique composition, what it gives you an advantage?
The mental fortitude. Since I've been tested in life a lot more than the average person would be just in daily life, then when I come to the mat, there's not much that can rattle me.
Virginia State Wrestling Champion. That was a goal for a while.
Mm-hmm. I just childhood dream, one of the higher accomplishments that you could do in wrestling. The name sort of sounded appealing to me, and that's what I wanted to do. And then as I grew older, to fulfill that dream sort of became stronger.
Putting together faith and determination.
You need to have a strong faith even when you can't see something happening, and to tie that to your determination is just as an important aspect as having that faith. There was a point in wrestling where I felt like giving up, and the pressure to fulfill my goal had gotten too much for me to handle. I saw God working. I had faith that he was gonna help me revive my dream.
And in the title match, what for you was the turning point?
There's about a minute left. A thought popped in my head that I don't know if I can do this. Just turned off my brain, and then I started wrestling freely. It was almost like I was being guided, but eventually I scored the final points to win the match.
That championship win, what was going through your mind in that moment?
Just a rush of excitement and just joy. That's something that he said he wanted to do. The journey that come to fruition, priceless. Him to have his moment, to be recognized after the match where they're taking their podium, they're getting their medals. Man, it's the moment that goes back to when he was born, that grief, but also that happiness.
Let's go back to that picture of you embracing Adonis. You're carrying his full weight. How does love shoulder more than what we realize we can carry?
It symbolizes what God does for us on a day in and day out basis. The weight that God is carrying, that he carries for us, he's always there. He's always got us. And I don't know what I would do or what I would be if it wasn't for what God continuously does in my life.
Out comes Dad in a full embrace. How does love shoulder more?
I think love carries with it doubt, sadness, fears, anxiety. It carries both the positive and negative things with it, and that's what makes unconditional love, loving you no matter what and always pulling you back up. Jesus' love, even when it seems like something random happens, even my birth can sort of be like that. Sometimes the greatest blessing can be born from when you're at the lowest moment.
Time now for your Friday Faithful, and today I leave you with this thought, especially when it comes to forgiveness. If you spend time in the mirror, fully seeing the moment you've missed the mark and made mistakes, suddenly extending grace and forgiveness to others becomes easier. Give grace today. You've received it freely. Now give it freely. Well, that will do it for this edition of CBN News Watch. I want to remind you, you can always find more of our news programs on the CBN News Channel. You can find them there at any time, as well as online. That's cbnnews.com. We'd love to know what you think about the stories you've seen here today or any day. You can email us, newswatch@cbn.com. And of course, you can always reach out and touch us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We certainly would love to hear from you. I encourage you to make this a fabulous Friday and then come right on back and join us here, same time, same place, come Monday. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you so much for watching, and God bless.